Hello and welcome to the Happiness Is podcast with me, your host, Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped. And today is a first. We have the best player in the world at this present moment. No arguments. The decision has been made, and I am so pleased that she is here to talk to us. Now, Zoe and I are both involved with the magnificent Halbro Sportswear. They do the Happiness Is stash that is available on their website, and Zoe is a brand ambassador for Halbro. The new women's off the field range will be launched in Easter 2022, so please get involved. The new playing kit is very, very cool and is fitted for the women's game. So when in doubt, get in touch with Halbro. But let's bring in Zoe, the world's best player, England international, and I'm pretty confident she's not finished yet. She is at the top of the game and she's going to drag everybody else with her. So please welcome the one and the only Zoe Aldcroft. Hello, Zoe. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. So there's lots of things I want to talk about, and you're a very busy lady, so I'm going to get on with it. How does it feel to be the best in the world?
I honestly can't really believe it. I just keep sometimes I just say it over and over to myself, and I'm like, I can't. It's just sinking in slowly, but I do think about it every now and I'm like, what the hell?
It's so cool. When I played rugby in Hong Kong, the team that won the Grand Championship, a guy called Jared Gallagher, who was amazing, brilliant guy, and very funny. And I'll never forget phoning him the Monday after they'd won it, and he answered the phone with, "Hello, Jared Gallagher, Grand Champion." So do you answer the phone? "Hello, Zoe Aldcroft, best in the world."
No, absolutely not. I don't think that's a bit of me.
You absolutely should. Do you just are you cruising around the house waiting for the kettle to boil, thinking, "Yeah, I'm the best in the world. This is pretty cool."
Still no. I mean, not that much has changed, to be honest. I feel like people just come up to me a lot more, and my phone's a lot more busier than it was before. But apart from that, still doing the laundry, still walking the dog.
So you don't have people walking in front of you dropping rose petals?
No,
Oh,
absolutely not.
I'm sad. I thought World Rugby would have organised that. So how do you find out? Obviously, there's the nominations. Do you get a phone call to say you're going to be nominated for this?
So basically, I actually found out a week before everyone else found out, and our team coach at Gloucester Hartbury put a message on the group and was like, World Rugby are coming in to do some filming. And I thought it was for Mo Hunt because she's a big celebrity and she's always getting filmed with loads and loads of stuff. So I was like, fair enough, didn't even think anything of it because we got told we would find out between the 6th and 10th of December. So basically we had an analysis meeting, the coaches did all their bit, and then Maggie Alfonsi was sat at the back, still not clicking on. And then Lindy was like, Maggie Alfonsi wants to come to the front and just speak to you all. So she came to the front, started speaking, and she was saying about, England have won all 4 games of their internationals. And I was thinking, this is a little bit awkward because we've got Welsh internationals in the room, Irish internationals, USA internationals. And I was thinking, they've won a few of their games as well. And then obviously she went on to speak about the world player and stuff. And then it finally clicked and I was like, oh my goodness. Then she brought the trophy out and yeah, that was how I found out and everyone went crazy. So yeah.
It must have been so cool to do it in that environment as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was so good to have all my teammates around me because obviously if I was on my own, I'd just be like, oh, cool. But the worst part was she because I'm not very good at doing interviews or speaking in front of people, and she got me up to the front and then she was wanting to do a full-on interview, and I obviously had just found out and I was just I couldn't even speak, and I was like, yeah, it's just really cool. It's really cool. I don't know what to say. It's really cool.
And is she a bit of a hero of yours?
Yeah, she is. She was a mega player. And she obviously won it in, I think, 2006. So, yeah, it was amazing to be presented the award by her.
So after it, who's the first phone call you make?
So I rang my mum and dad first, and they were my dad doesn't cry, but my mum was crying, and she had some friends around, and obviously I said, Mum, you can't tell anyone. She was like, oh, can you just tell the girls? And I was like, Mum. So I told those guys as well, and then I rang my boyfriend Luke, and they were all just so happy. So yeah.
It is very cool. Mums are terrible people to tell secrets to.
Yeah.
There's just absolutely no way. Whenever mums tell a story, but you'll never guess what I've heard. You think, yeah, you're probably not supposed to be sharing that information. So obviously that period of time has been awesome and televised, and decent publicity around it. The players I find, and I've spoken before to the players we've had on the podcast, like Rocky and Tamara and Burf and Catherine Spencer and Rona, about you guys appear to be much more accessible, because there's not 100,000 followers on Twitter, so it's a bit more intimate, but that's providing some really positive role models. Who was your role models when you were coming up through the game?
I've always said this, but when I was growing up, I didn't really have any like female rugby players that would kind of be my role model, just because it wasn't that like visible for me. Like I don't really know the sport, to be honest with you, but I did really enjoy rugby, and one of my biggest role models was Johnny Wilkinson, just because of his like dedication towards the sport and that sort of thing. So he was a massive role model. And then when I got to the age of 16, I found out about Hartbury, and the head coach there was Nolly Waterman, and she was a massive role model for me. Like, she just was so hardworking, like dedicated all her time. Like, she actually gave up coaching just so she could look forward to the 27 World Cup, which I just thought was amazing. So she was also another role model of mine.
And the bit about Johnny Wilkinson, he's a lot of people's role model. It helps that he's ridiculously good looking, as well as being so good at what he does, and he's cool. But that's not the player that you have developed into. So was it the persona and that pursuit of excellence that drove you towards Johnny Wilkinson, or was it just he was the most prestigious at the time?
I read one of his books one time, and I was just so like fascinated with like his dedication. Like, I think it just, like, the amount of hours that he like dedicated towards playing rugby. I think that was one of the things that that really, that I wanted to aspire to be like, because I think that's one of my traits. When I'm on the pitch, like, I try to work really hard. Like, off the pitch, I try to do as much as I can to be as good on the pitch. And I just thought it was, I just think it's a really good role model. And obviously Nolly was my role model, because I was actually a fullback when I first went to Hartbury. So I played all the way up until I was about 18 as fullback, and then obviously changed into a second row, back row.
And how did that conversation go?
It was a little bit weird. To be honest, I had a couple of coaches come up to me. It was like, "You're really tall. Like, have you ever thought about being in the second row or playing number 8?" Which is what I did go to. And I was like, no, I never really thought of it. And then there was like a lot of coaches saying like, "Oh, just leave it to it. Like, she's doing well there. Like, just let her keep in that position." And then eventually I played one game at England under 20s there, and then never played 15 again, to be honest.
Still got it though. You still love the open spaces.
Yeah, I do.
And the bit of your story that I love, and now whether you like it or know it, you are a role model, absolutely, and not just for girls. And I think that's becoming even more evident in the way the game is being portrayed, and the attendances that are coming along to watch. But rugby wasn't the thing. You did so many different activities. But when I look at the activities, there's very few of them included that real one-to-one, full-out aggression. I'm going to knock somebody over, or Where did you find that?
To be honest, I actually think I've always had that, because in netball I did use to knock over a few people.
What position were you at netball?
I was goal defence.
All right, okay, yeah. So still athletic, able to charge around, but able to use the physical bit as well.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think I've always been competitive, and I think it was just, I don't know, I just had something in me that that could do that, really. But I suppose it's a good thing doing it playing rugby, not anywhere else, to be honest. But not that word, but
there's a lot of female athletes, especially. It's still more common where they're able to transfer skills from one activity into another. Look at the Aussie Sevens squad, who are just outrageous and have taken athletes from various places. The New Zealand Sevens do something similar. Netball in this country has pinched a few from other sports. is there anything in you that would still love to go and pull on the dress and have a go with the England netball team?
Oh, not sure the England netball team, but when I retire from rugby, that is the sport that I'll go to. Netball, definitely. I miss it so much. I would still play if I had the chance, but you're just so busy when you do it. And obviously, like you said, I think doing all those sports when you're younger is actually really crucial to learning all the things. Like netball, that's helped me with my footwork. Rowing, that's helped me with my strength and like the willingness to just keep going, because you cannot stop it. Like that is one of the hardest sports that I've ever taken part in. So and then I did athletics, which is also obviously all helps with my like physical fitness today. So I'd say all of those sports has really helped.
Yeah, I love it, and I think that's. I'm a PE teacher. I was a bit sad when I read what your future plans are, because I thought here's a PE teacher, here's a kindred spirit, but you're going to go look after people's feet, which is a strange fetish we'll discuss later, maybe. But those transferable skills, you played lots of things. You didn't necessarily have the target to become an England rugby player or the best player in the world. So you obviously love sport.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think that's from being so young, I cannot even imagine like not having sport in my life. Like I would say to any young person, go and find a sport that, like, even if it's not the first one that you try, just keep trying different sports, because there is a sport out there for everyone. And it's like, it just builds so many friendships. It keeps you fit and healthy. And yeah, honestly, sport is amazing.
Amen. Mic drop, and we're done. I love it. Now, I'm just trying to picture your dad. If one of my daughters gave me that phone call to say, "By the way, Dad, I'm the best in the world," I think while I sit with my huge mug of coffee, I'd probably be saying, "Yeah, that's because I took her from there to there that night, and then I got up early there, and we went there at that weekend." I take it there was a lot of mum and dad taxiing as you were growing up.
Yeah, definitely. My dad took me, I don't even know how many miles he would have driven, but every Sunday, Wednesdays, we used to travel to West Park, Leeds. And then on Sundays, it'd either be West Park, Leeds or further to Manchester. And then I'd like eventually, as I got older, obviously coming down to Hartbury, I'd have to like travel down there, take all my stuff. So yeah, the amount of traveling that those guys have done, and my mum, like, for always being on the sideline and making my sandwiches on the way and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I can imagine someone like you who's eating breakfast in the car, going from there to there, and then you've got the packed lunch in the back for later, and probably
yeah.
stopping. So yeah, I get that, and I love that, and that busyness helps because you then become a student athlete. So you're having to be an elite athlete and perform almost as a professional, but you're studying, with your passion. I think it's you not necessarily lucky you've worked for it, but you were involved in something you're very passionate about. How did you find that balance? Hartbury is one of those places I've never been, but it's one of those places I just imagine is a little bit of a sports person's utopia.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I went to Hartford when I was 16 to do study alongside it, and it was just amazing because we had the chance to be basically professional rugby players. Like, we had the full-time gym program, S&C program, like did rugby pretty much every single day. And then also on top of that, which always came first, was that was down to our coaches, not down to us. But we had our academics on the side of that, and it was just amazing because all our teachers and stuff were involved in rugby pretty much, basically, so they understood the the balance that we had to do with it, and like they'd give you a hand with stuff if you're falling a little bit behind, or if you'd speak to your coaches and say, I can't make this session because I've got this work to do, then they'd all be really understanding. It just like worked massively. And then obviously after 2 years I headed up to Northumbria, which was a really good place for rugby at the time, and they'd just recruited loads of really good rugby players. So that was the place that really attracted me. And then obviously my academics alongside that were sorry, it was also the same sort of thing. So I had like obviously the professional side of it, and then obviously do my academics alongside of that as well. And that was just before I got into the England setup. So it was quite easy to deal with that. And then obviously when I did get into the England setup and got the contract, I did actually go part-time just because it was a little bit difficult. I was going into my second year. So I put that on hold for a year and then really concentrated on rugby and then went back and finally finished it.
You finished it, and then you become a full-time athlete. How do you switch? Do you think about it all the time, or is it nice that you have time to recover and take the dog for a walk and go out and see people and relax? Is that an easy transition, or did it take a while to get used to?
I would say it was a really easy transition. The thing that I probably didn't get right is like, oh my god, I've got all this free time. I can go and do this. I can go and do this basically. And then I was like getting to train. And I was like, God, I'm so tired. So I think it was just about like realizing that time off is actually for recovering, for like chilling out, getting all the things like going to the pool and that sort of thing. That's for doing that sort of thing rather than going into town, like going shopping or like something like that.
And your story, I was trying to figure when they make the movie, because let's face it, they're going to have to make a movie about you. When does the music stop? You come on for your first cap. Well, you tell the story. It just seems like almost too good to be true, but a massive ta-da moment. I'm here.
Yeah, it was amazing because we went on to a tour in not San Diego, Salt Lake City. We went on a tour too. That was my first cap, and I had a phone call from Matt Ferguson. He basically like said to me and Sarah Byrne that we were just coming on the tour for experience, see what it was like probably wouldn't get our first cap. So then to actually get my first cap, I was like, oh my goodness. And I think I came on with about 4 minutes to go. I had like 3 line outs, like a couple of carries, and then obviously I scored in the last I think it was even extra time to win the game, which was just like amazing. I was literally like I didn't even know what was happening, to be honest. I was running around like and people were just sending me places, and I just grabbed the ball and like put it over the line, and I was like, ah.
Hello, my name is Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped, and I am here to tell you where you can get your Happiness is Egg-Shaped merchandise. Go to www.halbro.com and search for Happiness is Egg-Shaped in the stores. We've got it all: umbrellas, snoods, hats, towels for when you eventually get to go on holiday to the beach or by the pool. We've got hoodies, we've got t-shirts, we've got all sorts going on there. Check it out. Get your Happiness is Egg-Shaped merchandise. You can get all coloured up for your favourite team or for your country. Get involved, because I know, everybody knows happiness is egg-shaped. So you're just, the final whistle goes, you're like, yeah, this international rugby is pretty easy. This like, what more is there to do? Why are people saying this is a test? How? So you go into the changing room, first cap, score the winning try. What's the atmosphere like? Because that's the bit I miss. I'm involved in the game in lots of different ways, but the bit I miss and I would give anything for is the changing room. And I've spoken to a lot of people about something similar, and that's the bit. The pitch, the game, the bit between the whistles is important, obviously, but those moments in the changing room, you can't get that back. That first cap, first try. Can you remember what it was like? Can you remember who spoke to you?
I don't really remember it too much, but I do remember it being in like a marquee, and obviously it was in the middle of summer, so it was absolutely about 40 degrees. So I remember everyone just trying to like be outside as much as possible because the marquee was absolutely roasting. But I remember I didn't know that we had to, because we obviously went on the bus straight after, and I remember I didn't realise that I had to sing a song, and oh my goodness, it was the worst experience of my life, because I think that if they've heard this song before, they basically boo. And I got booed on like my first 10 songs, and I was like, I have nothing left. It was absolutely horrific. God.
It doesn't matter what level you reach in rugby. That seems to be, you're going to stand at the front of the bus and you're going to sing, but you're going to have to either be absolutely outstanding or pull something really funny out the bag. The pressure of the lineouts that you experienced would be nothing to picking up that microphone at the front of the bus.
Honestly, it terrifies me. Like, even now we do, if you score a try, and I'm like, oh my God, Phil don't want to score a try. But yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. All the eyes are on you, and you're like, just have to sing or make up a song on the spot. And I don't even know the words to many songs, so yeah, it's difficult.
So your words of advice to new players coming into the squad is nothing to do with lineouts, calls, recovery, night before. Make sure you got a song.
Yeah, or 10.
Or 10. So you go into camps, and there's players in there that the more you were involved in the game, I would imagine names became a bigger deal. You go into England camps, was it a nervous experience where you just, this is me now, I'm ready for this? How did you approach going into that level of competition?
I think I remember it being quite scary, but it was okay because basically before we got, because me and Sarah basically did our whole journey together, me and Sarah Burton.
She's a machine.
She is a machine,
She's
yeah.
a machine.
So we got called into these things called like ABC camps before, which was basically all the forwards that played for England. So that was quite nice because then we had like a group of forwards that were really friendly, and we got to know those guys before we came into the actual England setting. And obviously Nolly was there, and she was my coach anyway, so that was quite nice to have. And but no, it was really scary.
Who's your mentor? Who would you make the phone call to ask for advice? Or is there anyone that when you see their name come up in the display, you think, I need this, or you know that you're going to leave that call or that coffee or that meeting a better person, a bit happier? Is there anyone around you that's who you seek that kind of help from?
I say currently, Sarah Hunter is like a massive one. Like, I think she's just so supportive and just like would like to help you with anything, and has always got your back. So I'd say she was like one of the people that's like the most supportive, and has been since I got pulled into the setup.
She's one of those players that I look at and I think she doesn't look like anything would shake her. She just seems so cool and focused and organized, and I'm not a massive believer in natural or born leaders, but she just seems like whatever it is that's happened, she's reached this point in her life where she's going to be prime minister. Like, she just strikes me as being so very cool and calm and focused. I love that. Do you look at players and think, I could take a bit of that and I could be a bit more like them?
Yeah, I do definitely. I think over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of like work with a psychologist, like to like basically be my sort of leader, but also looking at other leadership roles in the team. So obviously there's Sunta, who is calm, collected, like she knows when to speak at the right times, like she delivers the right thing, like the way she delivers the messages, everyone is listening. She doesn't speak for the right reasons. But then there's obviously like Abby Ward, she's very direct, she's very straight to the point, people know what they want from her. So there's that sort of leader as well. And it's just looking at like different things. And I'd say I'm more like, what we were working out was basically that I am more of like an authentic leader. Like, I lead by example. Like, I will only speak if I need to speak, if that makes sense. But yeah, I definitely lead more by my actions. But there's definitely loads of leaders in the group that is definitely good to look at and take little tiny bits from.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely leaded by your actions. You're a machine, but that you're messing around with people's perceptions of what that position should be, the way you get yourself around the field and the athleticism that you show, that you're relating to some of your experiences before. When in a game do you feel like I've given everyone a lift? Are there moments where you feel like I've just had a big impact there, or are you quite cool in here that everything is just, I'm doing my job, next job, don't focus on that too much? I'm interested to the feeling that you have as you play.
I think I just like I'm always just thinking like next job, next job, next job. Like I never really like think like after a game like people are talking about it and I'm literally like I don't really remember like what happened like at all just because I'm just literally constantly like there's 3 people there, there's 3 people there, need to be there, need to be there, need to hit that, need to tackle this person. And then obviously like if you do make a big tackle, you're like, oh yes, like that's giving me like an urge to like do that again and like stuff like that. So I think that's how I would say I feel on the pitch. It's just like constantly thinking like what's my next job, because I think as a second row that's kind of my thing. Like I hit that ruck, I tackle, I carry, do you know what I mean? I'm always like in the game, and so it's just like constantly thinking about what I'm going to do next. And then obviously when it gets to line up time, like cool down, like think of the line up call, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, the line outs, you guys love that nonsense. You get so excited. Are you a bit of a line out nerd? Are you looking at
Yeah.
others and pinching that? And what about we try this?
I absolutely love lineouts. Like, I love watching them. I know, it's so weird, isn't it? Honestly, if you asked me this question about 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said, like, I think we should scrap lineouts from rugby. Honestly, I would have. But now I'm into it. It's honestly so, like, complicated that it's actually really cool. Cool what we're about. But honestly, no, I love watching lineouts. I love getting new ideas. I love, like, the deception of it. Yeah. The speed of it, like there's so much detail that goes into it, and I don't think people understand like how like important and crucial a lineup is, and I didn't understand until like a couple of years ago, so I
Do,
don't blame y'all.
do you watch rugby? And sometimes I sit in the stand and there'll be a line out and it'll go wrong, and the layman will go, "Oh, that was the thrower's fault," or "That was the." I mean, there are so many moving parts. Have you
Yeah.
seen the documentary "Chasing the Sun," the South African one about winning the World Cup?
No, I haven't. No.
So in Japan, because the weather was so bad, the forwards just got together in the team room and spoke about the lineouts, and they were there for about 3.5 hours, I think, with 3 crates of beer, just going through the minutiae of detail of lineouts. And backs give forwards so much stick. But you get like, do you have a little line out posse and you get together and just get absorbed in those moments?
Yeah, we do. So obviously we've got one for England, and we just like share all our ideas, and then for Gloucester also, like we have about like 5 different conversations a week. Like, oh, we should do this one this week. So yeah, we have a lot of line-out chat. I'd say that was one of the biggest chats through the week, like leading into the game. To be honest, the line-outs. Honestly, there's so much that goes into a line-out.
And lineouts are quite intimate things because you're so close to your opposition, and you'll know a lot of the players you're playing against, and you'll have played with some of them as well, and you'll know that I can see that little trigger. That's what's coming, and that is there a bit of chat in the line out? Are you putting people off? Are you a bit of a wind up?
I wouldn't say I was that much of a wind up, but I would like if I have like I'm thinking where it's going to go, I'll be like, it's going to go there, it's going to go there, that sort of thing. But I would never like put them off their name or anything like that, with their name or anything like that. But no, I think it's just about like obviously if you do all your analysis, then you'll beat them anyway.
That's a very media trained answer, Zoe Aldcroft. You've changed. World Player of the Year has changed you. What's the chat going to be like in a game? If you make a mistake, is there going to be somebody chirps? Is there going to be somebody gives you a little bit of stick, do you think? Or is that not how it goes?
I don't think that's how it goes, really. Obviously, I think like rugby is a game where people do make mistakes, and I think that it's just about like obviously it's quite cliche when you're like, oh, next job, but it is about like the next job. Like you cannot do anything about that mistake that you just made. You do think, oh god, that's going to be on analysis this week, but you just got to move on in that moment and just wait for Monday morning when you're watching yourself back on the screen like, oh god. But
please tell me that your teammates did something after you. Please tell me you came in the changing room and your space was a throne, or please tell me there was some kind of ceremonial process you had to go through.
They've actually written lady on the top, because we all get our name badges, and on mine now it says Lady Zoe Aldcroft, which is really funny. And they have made up a song, which is also funny. Some of the lines I can't repeat, but yeah. It's funny.
See, now my mind's just going crazy. What are these like? Right. I wonder who do we
Ask
know
my
on the
hunt.
inside? Right. Okay. Well, that's a challenge. You have lain down a challenge. Is any of it teasing Mo Hunt that she didn't get World Player of the Year?
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're far too polite for that nonsense. So as you look back at little Zoe, I mean, there's no way you could have predicted this. This wasn't a thing. There's no
No.
way you could have predicted this. What did little Zoe want to be? Where did you want to go, and what did you want to become?
So I've always wanted to, don't know why, be a podiatrist or a chiropodist. So yeah, I was just like an interesting feat my whole life.
Can you take a look at mine? Because mine are horrendous.
I will if you want. So that is what I wanted to be. Obviously, I did want to play for England. It was really funny. I was actually reading one of my like old notebooks, and it was like had like a list of goals on it, and so I used to write down my goals, whatever, and it was like play for England by like 2020. It was like go to the World Cup in 2025, and I was thinking, oh my god, like I went to the World Cup in 2017. That's like, what is it, 8 years, like 8 years too late on my goals. So it was just like stuff like that. But so I did have, like, not until I was about 16 I had the ambition to obviously play to England, to go to World Cups and stuff. But when I was real younger, I just wanted to be a chiropodist. To be honest, I was a bit aware of the fairies when I was younger. So I was just happy like going along like day to day. To be honest, I am still aware with the fairies most of the time, but I do have more drive and stuff these days.
I think it's great, but it's so different, because if I was to ask a male World Player of the Year, it would be something completely different. Now that you're involved in the game, you're at the very highest level. There's still hopefully things to come, like a lions or lionesses or whatever that thing morphs into, and hopefully that will, because I think we all want it. Are you now lineouts, rugby? Would you like to become a coach? Is that something that you think's a pathway for you, or are you a rugby player and then you want to move on and go and look after smelly feet?
I do coaching at the moment. I do the Nolly's old job basically. I coach the A scales at Hartpury every now and then. I do really enjoy it, but I just don't think, once I'm done with rugby, I do think that's it. Like, I think I absolutely love rugby, don't get me wrong. Like, I will still watch it. Like, I want my kids to play it. Like, I love it, but just I think it'll be time to step back. Not for like 10 years now at the moment, but but yeah, I think once rugby's done, I don't think I'll coach. I think I'll just stick to the feet. But whilst I am playing, I will be involved in like in coaching and stuff like that. I'm happy to help out, or like even if someone wants me to pop down and be like, "Will you give some tips?" then I'll be happy to do that. But no, I don't think it'll be one of my main.
For the last 6 years, Fill Your Boots has been making rugby happen at the grassroots level. Please get involved and go to www.fybrugby.com to register your club or to register as a player and join the online community to make sure that games continue to happen in the future. Join in clubs with players and players with clubs to make sure that we can keep the club game as strong as possible. Fill Your Boots. Bringing rugby together. And rugby's giving you the chance to travel. I mean, it's crazy to think you got your first cap playing for England in Salt Lake City. It's not exactly a hotbed, is it? But for you, it's probably always going to hold that special place in your heart. And when the movie's made about you, well, we'll finish at the end where you're in your walking stick in Salt Lake City, looking back at the moment that it all began and all that kind of stuff. Where have you been that you've pinched yourself thinking, I can't believe I'm here on somebody else's ticket?
Oh, I think I'd probably say the 2017 World Cup. Like, because they went to New Zealand in the summer, like a few weeks before the World Cup, and I didn't get selected to go there. And then so I was absolutely gutted about that. And then when they got back from New Zealand, Matt Ferguson came up to Scarborough, my where I first started playing rugby, because that's where I was for the summer, working in my mum's cafe. So he came up there and did like a little training session with me. I was like, this is so weird. Like, why is he doing this? Like, he doesn't need to. And then like I think about the next week or the next couple of weeks, he was like, oh, we're going to bring you to the World Cup. And I was like, oh my goodness. And yeah, that was just like unbelievable. And then it was just absolute carnage from them, because I broke my foot. Like, I went to a specialist and he was like, you can't play rugby, otherwise you'll never play again. I was like, I'm going to the World Cup. And he was like, you have to sign this form. I was like, okay, signed it. And went to the World Cup, played the first 2 games, which was amazing. And then just had to sit on the sideline from then. But I didn't even think I would play, even if I didn't have my bad foot. So yeah, it was just amazing to be part of that. And it was something that I couldn't really believe that I was actually involved in.
Amazing stories. There's so much just in that little snapshot. So how do you deal with not getting selected?
I was absolutely gutted, because I felt like I would tried so hard. Like, I was so young. I was like, I've been like watching the sessions, like I haven't made a mistake. And it just wasn't about that. It was about like the experience that I'd had. Like, I just wasn't as experienced yet, and I just didn't understand like why I couldn't be involved then. So I was really gutted with it. But obviously, like when they all went to New Zealand, I had a little bit of downtime, like chilled a little bit out, and then like got back to it, because obviously I knew they were coming back, and I still had to train and make them all ready for the World Cup. So I still had to play my part in that. So yeah, I did have a little time out, like cooled off a little bit, and then got back to it. But yeah, I was absolutely gutted, because obviously I was like, that's my World Cup. I'm not getting the World Cup. So yeah.
And that's a roller coaster of an elite athlete. How have you prepared for that? Who's helped you prepare for that?
Obviously my mum and dad, they've been like massive, and my brother, he's actually so good. He's literally, if I'm like troubled, or like if something goes wrong, I'll like text him and I'll be so rational about it, because to be honest, he can actually be so brutal sometimes when I've played my games, and he's like, oh, that wasn't very good. Like, even when I won my World Player Award, he was like, wow, like, mate, I'm so proud of you, but it's just amazing because there's so much more that you can improve on. I was like, cool. So he keeps me grounded, but like, he's a really good person to speak to when obviously I'm having like my down days, or like I've been hit by an injury, because like he just knows what to say, and he does watch a lot of rugby, and he's like knows his stuff and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd say my brother was one of the best people to talk to if I'm not being selected or that sort of thing.
I love it. There's nothing harsher than family feedback, is there?
There's not.
they tell you how it is. They absolutely tell you how it is. You mentioned before about making notes. Is that something you still do?
Yeah, I do. I like at the start of the season, I'll have like my goals for the season, or like midway through the season, I'll like think, oh, why is this not going right? And then I'll like look back and I'll make my notes again. And then I'll just like look back at it, and then I'll be like, oh, that was either worked or didn't work, that sort of thing. So I have a big note person. I like to have my things like clear in my head, so that I know what I'm doing.
Well, Zoe, I love talking to you. Love your energy, but I know you're a very busy lady. But I'm interested to know where the future is and what it says in those notebooks for the next little while. Where, World Player of the Year, surely it's time to hang up, and you've completed it, mate. Let's go and win the Commonwealth Games at netball. Is that not how it should be next?
No, my next goal is win the World Cup next year, which is that is a dream and a half. Oh my goodness. So that is the big one at the moment. I actually have like a little basically a photo of like the World Cup, and I just like look at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, need to get there. So that is the next goal.
And does that help you with the little things, like feeling a bit down one morning, look at that picture, I need to do that, or I need to not do that? Is saying no part of the preparations?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's quite hard for me, because I'd say I'm quite a sociable person. So I love going out with my friends, like that sort of thing. So every once in a while is fine, but obviously like saying no is a big thing as well. And obviously like to like weddings and stuff, I've had to say no to a couple of those things. So yes, saying no is a big one as well.
So you've been quite open to say, I want to win the World Cup, which is, I don't know how, is it brave? Is it But it's great, I think, that you have the confidence to state that with your friends who are in a similar situation who want to go to the World Cup and to win. Is that something that you share and talk about, and how are we going to do it at the moment, or is that on the back burner while you deal with the next job in front of you?
Obviously we do like take each step by step. Like, so obviously the autumns, we like tick that box, we had our goals for it, we delivered, we know where we are now.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
And then obviously going into the Six Nations, we'll have different goals. It'll be more like getting the teams sort of like in place, if that makes sense. So it's definitely looking at each competition and taking it step by step. But obviously, as a group, we all know we want to win the World Cup next year. I think our coaching staff know, like, everything we do now is for the World Cup, if that makes sense. So we're all on the same page, definitely.
It's so amazing, and the depth of the squad is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, the competition for places must be driving things up, and the domestic competition now, like you said, you've got internationals from other countries in your changing room. What are those players saying? What are the foreigners? What are they talking about? Are they saying you guys nailed it in the autumn? You're a shoe in, or we're coming for you? Is there that kind of chat?
I think the biggest chat is that they really are like pushing their unions to be like the RFU. Like, that is their biggest thing. Like, they need their unions to be able to push them, give them those professional contracts so that they can like work on all those things that we're able to work on. Like, the being a professional athlete has just been pivotal for England, and for other unions to be able to do that, I think it's crucial to it's crucial.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's such a good product, and the ball and play time is just it's off the chart, and it's so enjoyable. Are players aware of that, or are they just playing the game? It's just how things go.
I think it's just how things go. Like, obviously we do talk about like how we play and that sort of stuff, but like, I think like you can make game plans and stuff like that, but it is what you feel on the pitch, like what you feel is right. So like, if you feel to run it, then you're gonna run it. And yeah, so I think it's definitely just down to us girls on the pitch that it's that the ball and play times like that.
I've got some quick fire questions here for you, because I've just listened to you. There's things coming into my head. What's the strangest reaction you've had when someone's asked what job you do and you tell them you're a pro rugby player?
Oh God. Oh, it's quick fire, Zoe. Come on. Oh, probably something like, so you get paid for that? And you're like, oh, obviously it's professional.
I'm glad that you took so long, because maybe it's becoming less of a thing than it was. But I still get funny looks telling them what I do, and I'm not a pro rugby player. Who in the changing room do you look at and think, who's helped you tie your laces in the morning? Who's the one that is just an absolute shambles?
Sarah Hunter.
Is it really?
Yeah, really.
That's just
oh wait, sorry. Did I get
so who's hopeless? Who do you think?
Not Sarah,
who I was going to say, who's totally disorganized? They've got odd socks on, but it's not a cool thing. It's because they're a shambles. I mean, Rocky Clark turns up wearing boots in a plastic bag, which I think has now been remedied because so many people have heard the story and she's been sent thousands of boot bags. But who do you look at and think, I'm surprised you've made it this far?
Oh, that's a really difficult one, because I think everyone is like, it's probably me, to be honest. Yeah, probably me.
You're far too hard on yourself and far too kind to the others. Who do you look at and think you're destined for greatness?
Sometimes Sarah Hunter.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Prime Minister.
Yeah.
It's between her and Rachel Burford, they are going to rule the world. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. So World Cup, that's the next thing to tick off.
Yeah.
And then completed it, mate. Was that?
I would like to go on a Lions tour. I think if that could eventually happen, like that would be the next big thing, and that'd be amazing for women's sport as well. That'd be incredible. That would. So
Okay,
yeah,
Lions squad. Then
yeah.
pick me your Scottish player that has to be a shoe-in for the Lions squad.
Run Yeah,
And that was totally unscripted, ladies and gentlemen.
that was.
Totally unscripted. Rona, who's your Irish player?
Irish player Cleaner Maloney.
Yes, and Welsh player.
Bethan Lewis.
That was very quick. I'm very pleased that you've nailed that, Rona. I'm so pleased you said Rona. That well played. You knew your interviewers. You've done your research. Magnificent. Well played. Zoe, I've absolutely loved talking to you. I know that you've got somewhere else to be, and it is with Halbro, and I better not upset them when they've been so kind to me. But we finish these things off with my only bit of script, which is for you, Zoe. Happiness is
being with my friends and family.
too good, too good, too good. Zoe, I've absolutely loved speaking to you. You are a bundle of positive energy. No one was surprised when you got that award if they've seen any amount of rugby over the autumn tests. It was just a shoe, and you were magnificent. I'm really looking forward to you visiting Edinburgh. I won't be supporting your team, but I'll support you, I promise.
Thank you.
But I'm hoping Rona gets a hat trick and upsets everybody, but that's a whole other story. All the very best for the future, and I look forward to speaking to you at some point soon. But I think the stars are absolutely there for you to go and claim. So all the very best, Zoe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Speak to you soon. Love that. What a lady. And the future is very, very bright. It's scary to think of all that she's achieved. And as her big brother or her brother says, there's still so much more to come. Thank you very much to Halbro for all their support of me and of Zoe. Get involved. It is great stuff. I love it. And I would love to say it makes me look good, but it probably doesn't. My name is Bruce Aitchison from the Happiness Is podcast. You can catch us on Acast, Spotify, and Apple. You can also watch on Facebook and YouTube. There is lots more to come with lots more guests. You can also go and catch up on the back catalogue with all our previous episodes. It's a whole lot of fun. We've got more people to talk to. I'm still delighted that people say yes, and I hope you enjoy. I hope you tell your friends, and I hope you'll be back for more. In the meantime, stay safe, all the very best, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.